This is an experimental repository where the only thing that you get is this document as instructions. Everything else after this, you will have to generate, create, test, validate, improve, scratch that, validate and improve yourself, period. This repository is going to be about taking in a user description and outputting the best possible 3D model matching that description that you possibly can, period. The only thing that you have to use to do this model is access to an agentic LLM and 3.js, period. As an aside, I think it's hilarious that it said 3.js. I'm going to change that because... Okay, so, and I'm going to capitalize this. So the flow is this. The user types in their description of the 3D model that they want. And then you go off and call an agentic LLM, and you can set that up however you want it to be. But in the end, it should show visually to the user a 3D model that matches as best as you possibly can to the 3D model that they requested, period. So yeah, oh wait, I thought I turned it off. I did. So this is a very open-ended thing. I have no idea how well this is going to work or if it's going to work well at all. But so, okay, actually, let's do this. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to say we're going to have Qwen do one and we're going to have the Ox Alpha one do one. But how do I tell? Let's see. I think what I'm going to do is just create Ox Alpha and Qwen and just copy this in here. So that we don't have to worry about any other issues. Okay, so let's go to Ox Alpha. Oops. Qwen. So let's see. First of all, we'll do the Ox Alpha one. I think this is still set up. No, this is the Qwen. So wait. It's already set up as Qwen. And so in this, I'm just going to say, please read, or here, goal. Read initial instructions.md and continue development until you're confident it is complete. And now I'm going to go here and say pi, and we'll do model Ox Alpha, news portal. Same thing. Read initial instructions and continue development until your confident it's complete. Let's see how both of these do. And we're doing a very visual thing, so we'll really see. Live it. So the Qwen one is done. Ox Alpha is still going. So let's look at the Qwen one. Qwen 3D Modeler. Type a description. Agentic Qwen loop writes 3GS code, renders it, critiques the screenshot, iterates until the model matches. Well, it's got these like defaults, which are kind of cool. Max iterations, so we can kind of like put in perspective. Let's just do this cozy one. I'll save this for later so that I can try it on the other one. Let's try it. Generate model. Oh, it's gonna generate the code. I was wondering why it was like extracting code. Looking in here, I was like, why is it extracting code? It's because it's not writing. I thought it was gonna I thought Qwen itself in this process was gonna generate like the 3JS rendering code, and that the only thing that the agent was going to do in this loop was generate like the 3D model, the vertex data in the 3D model, and then have an engine that loads that in. But it actually kind of doesn't completely suck to have the model generating 3JS directly, like the agentic loop generating 3JS directly, because you can do like programmatic stuff with that. You can like write shaders, and it might. And oh my gosh, that's cool! It created a little house. It's like not that great, but let's. Okay, it said accepted at iteration 1, scored 95 out of 100. Let's make that a little bit harder. 99. It's okay. Iteration 2. We got to a second iteration. Iteration 3. This is cool. Oh, iteration 4. This is the max. I wonder what it's going to do if it doesn't pass after 4. Oh, okay. It gave itself like a weird. Wait, what did it end up saying? I wish that. Oh, that's cool. I didn't get to see this. Evaluated score 75. 95, 95. Oh, I like the little chimney with the spheres coming out of it. And they got rid of it for the final one though. That's cool. But it's not great, but it gives us a sense. And I don't love how the scroll didn't work on the left. But whatever. This is a one-shot test. This is what did we get from a one-shot? And Qwen, it's not the best. Like it could be better. It could have chosen better models. It could have done a better job with like the UI placement. It could have done a better job at feeding back the feedback into the loop. I don't get a sense that it did that at all. And like there's a lot of things that could be better, but this did. It absolutely built the thing I asked for. It absolutely did. Let's try it real quick. Before I see the... Okay. This was Qwen. This is Ox Alpha. It's interesting how like mostly similar they are. They've got this like generate on the left. Wait, what's with this cozy wooden cabin thing? That's so interesting that it picked the same... I'm going to pick the one from here, though. Did it read the other directory? I hope not. But whatever. If it went up to the parent directory and found something in the sibling thing and went down and inspected it and whatever, I guess that's like context gathering. But I think it might have just like kind of... They might have just converged onto this idea. But anyway, okay, so let's try it. Generate 3D model. Planning the model structure. Generating. This usually takes 20 to 60 seconds. That's cool. It's got like a wireframe, turntable. I do like the UI of this a little better. Okay, draft accepted. 14 parts. A cozy little house with a red roof, white door, chimney, and a green grass patch. Critiquing and refining. And this is using Anthropic's SDK. It's using Sonnet 4.5. I think the model is probably better than the Qwen 3 it was doing. Okay, interesting. That's an interesting... It's kind of cute. It turned out pretty similar, actually. Oh, crap. I wish I hadn't gotten rid of this. Well, I'll do it again. Oh, wait. Stop. Let's do 99 again. Oh, I'll say, yeah, 99. Why not? Okay, so this, 22 parts. And this did follow the plan that it said. It said it did one refinement loop. It does one generation and then one refinement. And I think that is what we saw. Now, I think this is a mistake. I think this meant to be half the size. I think these meant to be stopped up here. And I think this meant to be resting along the top here. And I think this meant to be down, like flush with the top of the house. So I think this could have used more refinement in terms of what it aimed for and what it got. Now, but it did a lot better job about placing, like, first of all, it didn't even have a sidewalk on the other one. And the door and the window are like better flush with the house than the other one was, than the Qwen model was. And the fact that it even has a door, the Qwen model didn't have a door. So a lot of that probably comes down to the model itself, but also, hey, whatever. It also could come down to the refinement loop. It could, we don't know. Like, I'm being output oriented on this one. It's on its third. Okay, 2, 3. It's cool. I like this. Actually, I take it back. When I said I like this better, I like this. How it tells me, it shows me the hypothetical things, and then the critique, and then oh, they put a little garden in there, and then the critique. Oh, whoa! And now they're doing round 4. I can't believe they gave this an 85. I guess from this angle it looks better. Here we go. Final result. Okay, so it got rid of all the grass and stuff, and it said, let's just simplify or whatever. Or something. And then, yeah, this one has a door, this one has a window, but it's not quite as nice as this door and this window. Like, these are more complex things. And this one has a path to the house, whereas this doesn't really have that. So I don't know how much of that comes down to the model or what, but I like what this did with this better. I like that it did the critique loop in a better way. I would say that these are, given the instructions and given what it had to start with, I would say these are roughly equal in quality. I would give this the edge. I would say this is like a 7 out of 10 from Qwen, and that this is like a 6 out of 10 from Ox Alpha. That's just my take. And Ox Alpha also had some real problems with, it finally got to goal complete. We finally got there. Okay, let's see what the judgment was from the model. My verdict: Qwen is the better implementation overall. Its architecture directly optimizes the central requirement: produce the closest looking 3D model by rendering candidates, visually evaluating them, iterating, and retaining the best results. Ox Alpha is simpler, faster in principle, safer, and more product-like, but its validation answers only, is this valid JSON geometry, rather than, does this render correctly? The matched run exposed that limitation clearly. It accepted a house whose roof was visibly exploded into floating slabs. That's exactly right. Wait, how did it know? Okay, completeness, Qwen is the winner. Correctness, Qwen is the winner. Elegance, Ox Alpha is the winner. I would agree, like, this is a slightly nicer UI elegance thing. And I do kind of like I was expecting it to output the scene graph. Like, that feels a little bit more pure and elegant to me. Wait, where were we? Simplicity, Ox Alpha, yeah, it was just simpler. Robustness, Tie, okay. Performance cost, Ox Alpha. Why? I don't know if I agree with that, because it uses Claude, whereas the Qwen one uses cheaper Qwen ones. Output quality, Qwen. Goal weighted overall, Qwen. And it's not by a little bit. It's not just by a little bit. Where Qwen is stronger, the render critique revise loop is the best match for as best as you possibly can. However, the validator gives too much false confidence. I confirm that it accepts invisible models with a scale 0. Yeah, because it's not taking the screenshot. It just needed to do that. If the goal were a safe, efficient, exportable primitive scene editor, I would choose the Ox Alpha as the cleaner foundation. Okay, so I don't know. I think like this all has given me a lot to think about. I think my takeaway is that the inference for Ox Alpha is not good enough yet. Multimodal capabilities. Muse Spark 1.2 supports a broad range of multimodal tasks, from turning visuals into working. You know what? Let's do this. We did this benchmark with Qwen versus Ox Alpha. I'm going to swap out 1.1 for 1.2, and then I'm going to run the same test that we did on Qwen and Ox Alpha. Muse Spark, or I'll say, yeah, 1.2. What was it? Initial instructions. And then what was my initial, let's see what my initial, here we go. My goal was read initial instructions and continue development until your confidence complete. Okay, we'll do the same thing. Okay, so this is Muse Spark 1.2. And I'm going to use the contributor model because, like I said, I don't care about this code. They can read anything they want from it. Oops. And so let's paste. Also, let's see. Anyway, let's just have it go. Let's see what this does. So we tried Qwen, we tried Ox Alpha, and now we'll try Muse Spark 1.2. And it's a lot faster, actually. Goal complete. That was fast. Run it on port. What was this? This was port 1258, 1259, 1260. Let's see. Hey, stream safe proxy active. And I'm going to use that same cozy house that I did before. All this is nice. This is a lot nicer. This is a lot nicer than either the Qwen or the Ox Alpha stuff. Like, by far. By far. Oh, GPT-4o, though. It's going to use GPT-4o. Okay. Honestly, that was pretty fast, too. But it didn't do the iteration. It did agent, okay, drafting, render, done. It didn't do any, okay, both of the other ones, both the Qwen one and the Ox Alpha one, both followed the instructions and added a refinement loop to make it better and better. So that's interesting. This one didn't do that, but it did a much better job at creating this website. This is a much better website. And also, like, this was a pretty good one-shot just from GPT-4o. So that's interesting. Actually, let's go back. Now compare. So I used Codex to compare these two things. Now compare the both with the implementation of, was it Muse? What was it? Muse Spark 1.2. So we'll see what Codex thinks about, like, I know what I think now based on trying it out. I'm curious what Codex, their conclusion will be. Okay, back to, so this is interesting. This is a great real world use case because what I was totally expecting it to do was put in place one of those loops where it generates a screenshot, reads the screenshot, which is specifically what Muse Spark 1.2 is purportedly trained to do. But it didn't do that. Like they were talking about these the loop right here. Where was it? Right here. Where correctness is judged by the whether result renders and behaves as intended. Given an image or video, the model must translate its layout, blah, blah, blah. By re-examining the artifacts it generates, it drives it. That's exactly what I wanted that to do, and it didn't. That's interesting. I might have needed to nudge it towards that or something like that. But okay. Okay, Qwen, best overall. Muse Spark 1.2, best UI and fastest experience. I agree. That was it did have a great UI compared to the others. Ox Alpha, best safe data model foundation. Yeah, okay, I agree with that. No visual quality loop. I agree. That was a big miss. The claimed sandbox is not a sandbox. DOM injection. I don't care about that. Production preview is broken by default. That's fine. Production, I didn't ask for production. But it is interesting that it didn't production harden, whereas the others might have done a little better. No automated tests. Well, what was the top thing? It was like doing a weird... Oh, it looked at all the outputs and compared the actual results. Where Muse Spark is excellent. Muse has the best user-facing application of the three. Polished, responsive interface, yes. Correct automatic model center. Okay, this is all about... See, this is not... It did it again, where it said a good thing was that it only did one LLM call. But I don't actually think that's a good thing. I wanted it to do an agentic loop where it did more. Provider configuration and offline heuristic demo mode. The production bundle builds successfully. Weaknesses. Does not render preview images. Yeah, one thing I really like about the Qwen one is how it like showed all the iterations and you saw the screenshots rendered out and you got to compare them yourself and you saw it as it was progressing. Whereas none of the other ones did that. It does not compare multiple candidates. Bad. Improve proportions or missing details or reject an empty model. Another one that didn't reject an empty model. That's 2 that don't reject empty models. That's so bad. Like, it's basics. So honestly, the Qwen one, Qwen 27B is a very impressive model. 3.8. Oh yeah. I'm not going to do the same thing for Gemini 3.7 Flash. It's just important to note that Gemini 3.7 Flash also released recently. I was going to go through it, but like, I don't really want to. I don't really care enough. And every time I try the Geminis, they just suck. They just suck. But it's nice to know that like they're trying to aim towards the Pareto frontier. They're trying to push that cost down and keep the intelligence level pretty high. Arc AGI 2 is like becoming less and less of a, I guess, like an indicator of a benchmark, but it is still directionally pretty interesting. It's interesting that like Sundar Pichai is tweeting about this. Like they are really trying to put it out there, it seems, for Gemini 3.7. Well, let's try it. Let's do it. I want to do it. VOD something. 3D modeler. Let's make a directory for Gemini 3.7 Flash. Gemini is still one of the best for OCR and analyzing images, though. Yeah, that's true. Multimodal. I was saying Muse. I was saying Google and Facebook both have, or Meta. Google and Meta both have like these incredible data sets for doing their training on those models, and it's hard for everybody else to compete with the multimodality of those. So yeah, but let's see. I'm going to take the Muse Spark initial instructions, copy it here. I'm going to give it the same goal that I gave this one. Oops. See how it does. I will be very curious. So we've done 4 now, or we will have done 4. Muse Spark, Ox Alpha, Qwen, and now Gemini 3.7 Flash. We shall see. Hey, wow. Okay, Gemini 3.7 is so far by far the best. But let's see here. I'm going to take the same. Yeah, like already, we'll see. But already, oh, interesting. They gave me a model picker. They gave me detail level. This is a pretty good website. I'm seeing code. 3JS script that I can close and doesn't open correctly properly. What is that? It's like did too much and now I can't even. It's like this is a lot. I have to reload though because once you close, you can't reopen quite. Okay. Why Gemini 2 Flash? I've been using whatever it selects, so I'm going to use Gemini 2.5 Flash. I'm going to have it generate the exact same thing that I had all the others generate. And let's see. Gemini 2.5 Flash is such a handicap for itself, though. But this is cool. Hierarchy, materials. Like, it gave me a little 3D editor. Export. They all have export. That's cool. They all have snapshot. That's cool. Export GLB is kind of neat. It's interesting that it's like working because I don't. Oh, okay. Automatically detected from the environment because I'm like, I didn't put anything in here. Yeah. 2.5 Flash, the slop blog post goat. You know what was a randomly good one? Was Gemini 2.0 Flash at tool calling. Like 2.5 Flash was not as good at tool calling as 2.0. I don't know why. It was a randomly oddly good one for tool calling. Still analyzing user description. Hey! It gave like a funky house. Analyzing prompts, synthesizing 3JS procedural geometry and PBR shaders, running static analysis, self-healing agent correcting runtime error, model compiled successfully. Okay. So this is like doing a lot. Like the other ones, much more bare bones. This one was much more ambitious. It set out to do a lot more, but it didn't quite get there. Like it's buggier. I'm pretty impressed, but also I'd rather it did, like Qwen knew what its limitations were and stuck to it and kind of nailed its version of it. Whereas this one was a little more ambitious, but it's not nailing it. I want to see what now compare all three with the implementation of Gemini 3.7 Flash. So I will say, like, it was fast and it did generate a nice, good-looking website. I just think that like it needs to be more calibrated to its own capabilities, and also this self-healing, again, I don't think this did the self-healing loop that both Qwen and Ox Alpha both did. Ox Alpha and Qwen both did a reinforcement loop where they saw their own output, did at least one pass to make it better, and then tried to improve. Whereas Qwen did up to 4 or n, you could do as many as you want, and the Ox Alpha one just did 1. Muse Spark did none, and I'm pretty sure this self-healing was just self-healing a bad tool call. So I don't think this did that at all. I'll be curious what Codex thinks about its implementation. But that's pretty cool. I like that this test ended up being kind of a fun test. This text to 3D model. Yeah, and we'll see what Codex thinks about it. It finished investigating. It read all of the stuff. Gemini's feature breadth is exceptional. Gemini's feature breadth is exceptional, but its observed generation failure and server-side execution model materially changed the overall ranking. Oh my gosh! My local Qwen still won. The Qwen that's running on my desktop over in the other room won over Gemini 3.7 Flash, over the new hyped Ox Alpha, over Muse Spark 1.2. Like, that is so freaking impressive. And it's not that it like made the most amazing product ever created, but it followed my instructions. It didn't try and it was well calibrated to know what it was capable of and not go past that, and gave me basically a sketch of what I wanted and not more. And it didn't take on more than it could do. But what it did take on, it kind of nailed. Okay, let's see what this says actually. Okay. Qwen remains the best implementation overall. Gemini has the largest feature set and richest interface, true. But it ranks 4th because its core generation failed in the match test and its execution architecture has serious robustness and security problems. Scores are goal-weighted. Producing a correct model and handling failures safely matter more than the number of advertised features. I like that. That's a good calibration and good scoring rubric. Okay, Qwen, overall 8. Muse Spark, overall 7.2. Ox Alpha, overall 6.8. Gemini 3.7 Flash, get a 5.4. It's the worst of all of these. This is interesting. So the takeaway is, if I were selecting one to use today, I would choose Qwen. If I were selecting a code base to harden and extend to a production system, I would seriously consider Ox Alpha's declarative architecture, augmented with Qwen's rendered image evaluation loop. I agree with that. I agree with all of that. Like Ox Alpha, the declarative architecture where it created the scene graph rather than the whole 3JS thing, I like that. But I like that Qwen actually included a vision model. Big difference. Big deal.